Hello everyone. Welcome to Real Talk Central. This is a podcast where we navigate life in our 30s and speak about what has actually not been spoken about ever.
With no filters.
Correct. So let's get on this journey and see what all we can unravel in this podcast.
So, why did we start this podcast and why are we launching today? So, a little bit of history is that last year, on 1st Jan 2025, actually earlier this year, we made a resolution to start a podcast together. And this has been in the works for not just last year, but many, many years. So, this story actually started when we were in two different countries. I was here in India and she was in Dublin. And we really recorded one podcast. It was a virtual podcast and we thought we'd kick in and why not just start? But that never saw the light of day. So now that she's moved back, we resurrected this journey and this goal of ours that we really need to sit together and start recording, start talking. Because what happens is we often go on walks. And it is 1 hour, 1.5 hours long. And at the end, we realize that this could have been a podcast. Because there's so much that we talk about our life in 30s. And there also are different stages of life being the same age. So we always think that this could have been a great podcast. And now that we've decided, we'll literally sit and record this. So that is why we thought about doing the podcast. And the second point on the theme of our podcast, so what we want it to be about, we came up with the concept of covering everything to do with navigating 30s. 30s as a decade has been much harder than we expected. And the more we spoke over the last couple of years, the more we realized that from 20s to 30s, there has been a big switch in the way we are leading our lives. So when it comes to health, be it nutrition, be it career, really feeling confused and lost, or even relationships, not just with our partners, but with our friends, with our families, priorities have drastically changed. So the more we spoke about it, the more we realized that if we are feeling this, I'm pretty sure everybody in their 30s is feeling it too. And that is why I want to talk about everything on navigating 30s as gracefully as we can.
Yes.
So that's why we're here and that's why we're getting started today. Come along on this journey with us. In this opening episode, we will touch briefly upon all of the things that we spoke about, but moving forward, we'll hopefully take one topic and talk about it in the entire episode.
So now we move on to our third segment, which is Get to Know Us, where we briefly talk about who we actually are so that you don't feel like who are these random people talking about all this in a podcast.
I'm pretty sure we must just be random off. I didn't know. Yeah, don't say get a flavor of one personality. Please try. Okay. So you start. So I'll ask her a few questions and we'll do vice versa. So the first question to you is, okay, what is your name firstly and why did you get that name or what does your name mean?
Okay, so my name is Lavanya. When I got this name, it was a very uncommon name. Now I think it's become common. I don't know what my parents saw in that baby face of mine to name me Lavanya, but the meaning is grace. So Lavanya, it comes from a Sanskrit word which means grace. So grace and beauty is the actual meaning. I think they were very hopeful कि थोड़ा अच्छा बच्चा निकल आएगा तो so they named me that. And I think I really try to live up to the grace side of my name so that I do everything with grace and with dignity so that people don't say that what a name and what it was. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Okay, so the second question now for you is, if you look back at 12 years of your school, what do you think was your fondest memory as a student?
I think school was a very different time for me. She would know because we've been in the same school, and I was a very different person in school. I was like a shy kid in school and studying. I was very inclined towards art projects, craft projects. So I think the fondest memory was I really used to take pride in representing my school in innumerable art projects and art competitions that I'm gone for. And I was the first person that all the teachers used to recommend. So I used to feel a sense of pride that I'm the art person in this batch. So I think that's the fondest memory from school, if I recall. But I also recall that it was a very different me. Like I don't identify with that person at all. I think I took it upon myself to change that person as soon as I entered college.
Okay, and then the last question is, because I know all of this already. One last question for you is, I remember like when we were both in college, and our colleges were also neighboring next to each other. She was maybe one of the only people that I knew in my circle who was not chasing a corporate 9 to 5 job and was very clear from the beginning that she wants to track the entrepreneurial path.
Yeah.
So, question to you is, how did you get that clarity at such a young age, and what pulled you in that direction?
I don't know. Yeah, it's not like I really had that ambition that, oh my god, I'm gonna do it. Like it was not like that. It was not a Chak De India film or something like that. But I feel like it just organically happened. Like I went for my studies and then I was doing like a brief stint of a job there in London. And over there, I realized that my inclination was in design and art and creativity and all that. So then I thought either I could pursue another master's or I could come back and try my hand at it, because I could still fall back to that job 1 year later. Like I had that option. So I thought maybe, and my parents were really supportive. They said, if you want to try it now. Otherwise, 5 years down the line, you'll always be chasing the next promotion or the next position in the hierarchy. And it's very difficult then. So now I'm like, okay, let's try it. So I tried it and SME and ekdam se it worked. There were a lot of things I had to buy, but that's for another episode. Right, yeah. Okay, so let's do you now. Done. So same questions. What is your name and what does it mean to you?
So I actually have 2 names. 3 names actually, if I think about it. So my official name, of course, is Akanksha, which I don't think is a mystery to anyone, but means wish or desire. So I was named that by my grandmother, if I'm not mistaken. But the unique part about my name is actually the spelling, because there are so many versions of Akanksha out in the world. But I call myself the true authentic Akanksha, because I do have the double A at the beginning and an additional K in the end. So I'm the original OG Akanksha. I have a pet name, of course, at home that my family calls me. But funnily enough, when I moved to Ireland for 3 years, so the Irish really struggled to pronounce my name, rightly so. So I actually shortened it to Kasha. And that since then has become my professional alter ego. And I like to be referred to as Kasha in work environments, just because I think there is a switch in my personality that happens when I put that cap on.
Yeah.
So now I'm Kasha for everyone professionally, and even for this podcast, you can call me Kasha.
Kasha.
I'm a high down the accent.
And I remember when I visited her in Dublin, everyone used to call her Kasha. Okay. And fondest memory of school?
Fondest memory of school, actually, I was a kid who really enjoyed being on the stage. I really loved dancing. I have been dancing since I was 4. And I started with Kathak, and I was doing contemporary with the dance works. And then I did a lot of dance with the dance society in school as well. So I really enjoyed and cherished my time on the stage. And then as I grew up, I moved from dancing into public speaking also, which I really enjoyed. So I used to be a part of Toastmasters, and then do hosting or emceeing of the assemblies, and also participating in debates. So while I really enjoyed that, because that truly has shaped me as a human being and the person that I am today, my fondest memory still remains to be my now husband, who I met back in school. So I met him in school, and I think just the water cooler breaks and school ke baad, let's go to Sundar Nursery and Khan Market for big chill, pasta and all of that. So that used to really be something. When I look back to school, I always think about that.
Amazing. I think one of the only couples from school who have actually gotten married and made it work.
I also don't know how that happened, but yeah. So that's, I think, school for me. So let's go into segment 4, which is going to be 20s versus 30s, and the whole reason why we started this podcast. So we'll discuss a few topics across health, career, money, relationships, etc., on how our perspective towards those things has changed to what it was in 20s to now that we're in 30s. So let's begin with the first one, which is health. And health for me, of course, has many different aspects to it. There is nutrition, there is food, there is physical, there is mental, there is emotional, etc. So maybe like let's start with you and how your relationship with health has changed over the decades.
I feel like my understanding of health has changed by leaps and bounds, because I used to just think that someone who's moving and is active is a healthy person, but there is so much, there's a whole universe on health that you can read up and you can really educate yourself on. There are all these apps and trackers and everything that we equip ourselves with these days to be sure that we're on point and we're really working on ourselves on a daily basis. So I didn't really have a lot of this information in my 20s. I really didn't care, to be honest. I really didn't care. I was only like thinking about what I'm going to be eating next, or if I'm just like doing my walking and my jogging, and I think that was enough. But somehow that was enough that time, but now it's not. So now when I was in my 20s, I used to feel like, okay, now I've had my parathas and my greasy food. Being a Punjabi, I'm in all about like chole bhature and all that. And I used to go to the gym afterwards. That, okay, now let me burn that. And sometimes I didn't end up going also. But now I, like a responsible adult that I have become, I would be like, let's go to the gym before. So if I'm eating chole bhature on Sunday and I've planned that, I would go to the gym on a Friday. So I feel like that in my head is a big shift, and I call it growing up.
Yeah. I think it's important now that we do, because if we don't, our bodies will pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's what the shift in 30s is really about, right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, we've spoken about this off camera, but relationship with workout or exercise has changed in two ways, right? For me, in my 20s, it used to be a lot more reactive in my 20s, where I used to think about, okay, if I put on weight, then I need to go and exercise, or if I've had an injury, then to help me with recovery, I would be prescribed by my physio to go and work out.
Yeah.
But now in 30s, it is more of a proactive effort that I do with working out. And I'm now more thinking about the long term, right? In the next 30 years, what kind of body do I want to be? At my 60, like, do I want to be in the best shape of my life ever? So do I have the habits right now for that? So it's changed from being reactive to proactive. And the second biggest thing with exercise for me was that in my 20s, the manifestation of workouts used to be purely physical. Like, my motivation to do it would be purely physical, that I want to lose weight or look a certain way. But now it's become a means for mental stability as well. And the days that I don't get my dopamine and endorphins from working out, I do feel like a different person. So now I look for the gym and go for my workouts to just feel mentally more sane, which I think that space offers me, which never used to be the case in 20s.
And I think you gravitate towards the same people also.
Yeah,
like your
absolutely.
circle also organically really becomes those people who
Like
have
the
to do
same interests.
same things.
Yeah. And I think that is a great segue into relationships, because we talk about people and people around us and the kind of people we attract or want to be close to in our 30s.
Yeah.
So maybe let's talk about relationships as well and how that has changed.
So I'm not married, but in my relationships that I've had during my 20s and now even in 30s, I feel like the mental space I'm in when it comes to relationships is very different. It used to be a little like more, I would say, for the lack of a better word, frivolous in 20s, because it used to be, okay, where are we going for dates, and what movie are we watching, okay, am I there for you when you need my help, and more like that, like navigating the surface level stuff of life together. But now when I meet people, like I'm in the process of meeting people for arranged marriage and all that. So now when I'm meeting someone, my head goes to, okay, is this a good father for my children? And I don't know if that's healthy, but I don't know. I just can't help thinking, because I'm very close to the age where I'll be bearing children. So I think of, okay, is this a good family for children to be around, or is this a good environment for me to have a family? So that's a shift. I think it also, nobody caused it, nobody said you should think this way, it just automatically happened. And yeah, I think that's what I've noticed most.
And I think for me, again, in 20s versus 30s, the kind of friends, and not just the kind, also the volume of friends that I had has significantly changed from 20s to 30s. In 20s, I remember, like, all of us wanted like a big social life, different groups of people as friends, somebody from like a group from school, from college, from your first job, from your second job. etc.
The number mattered.
The number mattered. And also like big groups from all phases of your life mattered. And I think the one thing that held everything, mostly people together, was either going out for food or going out to party. These two things only I think we've done with our friends in 20s. We haven't done much more. Or maybe trips. That used to also be a thing. We go out, trip karenge, Bangkok, kahin jayenge. So I think that used to be a big part of my social life. But now I really want like 5 people, 5 friends, and those people who enjoy the same things as I do. So if I want to go for a workout, like switching basically Saturday nights to Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
So I think
we better put, but I think 5 is also plenty.
Yeah.
You're very
2, 3
lucky
are
if you
good.
get 5.
Yeah. 2, 3 like meaningful friendships are good enough. Maybe max I can handle is 5. And then we're switching out Saturday nights to Sunday mornings, which is the ideal way, I think.
Put that on a t-shirt. Okay, so now let's talk about the one thing that everyone is talking about, the moolah. How has your relationship changed with money as you entered 30? And I think it's been quite a shift, at least for me. So what do you think?
No, for me as well, 100%. I think in my 20s it was all about saving. So it was all about earning as much as I could and saving as much as I could from that, because I think there is something that all our parents teach us growing up, is that, you know, having enough corpus available for any emergencies in the future is very important. And because 20s is when you start earning for the first time, you have your first job, etc. And the amount you earn is also not that much. So you really feel like it's, you know, drop a time makes the ocean. So I was actually waiting for the ocean to be built. So in my 20s I was extremely patient, I was extremely frugal with my money, and I just wanted to save as much as I could and build a corpus. So I think that was my mentality. But as I'm entering my 30s, and I have entered my 30s, I think now I want to start using money as a tool that facilitates me to live the kind of life I want. So not to say that I am being reckless with it, not at all. I will never be. I don't think I can ever be reckless with money, but just using it when needed and not being guilty about it or not feeling guilty about it. So judiciousness always is a filter, but I don't think twice before spending money when I need to. So even if it's a heavy investment or any heavy money that I have to, like, heavy amount that I have to spend, if I can in my head justify it, I will spend it. So I think I've become now a lot more open-handed with it, free-handed with it. And I think another realization I had was that, you know, if you think about the next 30 years of your career, right, what's going to happen is that the amount of time you have will keep going down year on year, right? But because we've all started down a trajectory of earning money, the amount of money you will earn will only keep on increasing.
Yeah.
So the value of time for me has increased and value of money has decreased, because with time, money will only increase but time will reduce. So anything that lets me trade off time with money, I don't mind spending money.
That's a very good way to look at it, because time is the most valuable resource. So if you save time by spending money,
you should do it.
Why not?
If you can, you should do it. Yeah.
But on the contrary, like looking at your journey, I feel mine has been really opposite. Because I started spending my own money late. So I was fortunate enough that my parents let me spend their money for a long time. Also that I was an entrepreneur, so I didn't have a salary coming in that I could spend, and I don't know, somehow I was okay with it. So I started getting that corpus on a regular basis later than probably my peers. So when you're spending your parents' money, you really don't think about money. So I really didn't think about money for the longest time. I think late 20s is when I actually thought, when I started spending some of my money. And then now a few years back I've started taking up all my expenses. So now I think about money very differently, and I think about investing. And I think about what expense am I making, is that worthwhile, should I invest that money on the contrary or not. So all these things came to me a little later, because I was earlier spending my parents' money. Now when I started spending my own, I did take a step back in being the splurger that I was. But I've come to I think on social media only I saw this, and I've come to inculcate this habit that even if I'm spending on myself, to not feel guilty, I try to park that much money in an investment first before I spend that, so that I don't feel like I've not been responsible or something like that. So if I'm spending a 20k in somewhere, I will be like, okay, let me just do a 20k additional SIP this month, and then I will be okay with it.
Yeah, and it's almost like the same thing we spoke about, right? Like eating chole bhature and then going to the gym.
Exactly.
It's just like putting that perspective and balancing everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And finally, maybe we touch upon career as well, on how we perceived career, or we think about building our careers, professional journeys from 20s to 30s. And for me, I don't know, maybe a lot of people who are in 9 to 5 corporate jobs feel the same way, and I've been hearing this a lot from my friends, is that the kind of drive or ambition that we had in 20s is no longer the same just for our jobs in 30s. And I think my perspective shifted a lot during my stint in Europe when I was in Ireland, that people, misconception people have for Europeans is that they're not ambitious. But my perspective is that they are ambitious, but they're not ambitious only for work. They're very ambitious to have a very well-rounded, holistic lifestyle. Because if you really look at them, the way they think about their family, the way they think about their own physical well-being, the way they're disciplined about their workouts, their diet, oh my god, it's as clean as it gets. The fact that they're so active through the day, and you'll see 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds going to supermarkets, shopping for groceries by themselves, picking up heavy bags and lugging it back home. And that really became an inspiration for me. That's the kind of 70-year-old I want to be. So it really has helped change my priorities a bit. That in 20s it was all about getting a job, getting promotions, getting good ratings, being the hard worker, doing crazy amount of working hours. But now I'm really looking for that balance. And I don't know if it's just me, or maybe my influence of being, doing a stint, but I'm hearing this a lot from, my other friends in 30s as well. That everybody is looking for that balance, because we don't want growth to come at the cost of your personal well-being. So
I feel for me, I definitely connect with that balance factor, because earlier it's all about, okay, the highest paying job or the fanciest company on your resume. And one thing that I have seen a shift in my career is that now I feel like I want to do something that in 10 years I feel like, okay, little bit difference, but this is what the difference I made. Like maybe I enabled a certain sect of people to better present themselves, or maybe I enabled the children to get educated, just randomly throwing some examples, but just a little bit like a drop in the ocean, something that I can say, okay, I worked for 40 years in my life, but what did I really do? Did I stir the ocean in any way? So I feel like even if we earn crores and crores of money and we didn't do anything to make a difference while we came to this earth, then what's the point? So the motivator should not be money. That I think is common between the both of us. But also seek an inner balance and seek all-round balance as well of why you're here. Because I feel like I've been asking this question about why I'm here a lot more. I never did in my 20s. I think not a lot more. I'm asking it now. I never did in my 20s. And now I feel like, okay, but why am I doing this? Will it really have a ripple effect in the future? So that is something that I'm thinking about. It's still nascent, but I feel like I'm on the journey.
I think it's really about finding purpose, right?
Yeah.
That is something that I think is definitely switched in my 30s as well. That everything that you do, you want to think about why behind it. Why am I doing this? What is the larger purpose behind it? And the impact that you can have in the lives of others. So yeah, very interesting. It's, I think, clear signs of growing up and maturing.
Great.
Okay. So this is just a teaser of the kind of things we really want to go deeper on, because we just touched the surface, scratched the surface right now. But in the subsequent podcasts, we really want to pick up one topic each and really go deep and talk about how do we then now in our 30s, knowing the switch that has happened from our 20s, can build meaningful lives and build meaningful 30s that become a strong foundation for the rest of our life.
And also how we can film content, because we really don't have any idea. So we've really been struggling to film this, and we're gonna be teaching ourselves to do that.
But the most important thing was for us to get started.
Yes.
Which we have done. So hopefully we will go live on 1st.
Let's see. Don't commit anything.
We'll go live soon. This is 31st December.
Let's see when this is
2025.
posted.